Times are tough for our biggest airline brands. Even the world's favourite airline is feeling the cold.
British Airways did lose £200 million in the fourth quarter of our last financial year.
Global terrorism, the SARS epidemic and a stagnant economy have slammed the brakes on the national flag carriers.
In 20 years, I have never seen the outlook for this industry as dire as it is now.
But now, a new generation of low-cost airlines are growing fast and fighting for their share of the air. The most profitable of them all is Ryanair. Amazingly, they've done it by selling the cheapest seats in the industry. For Ryanair's big talking boss, the sky's the limit.
In 2 years' time, we will overtake British Airways. And the world's favourite airline will no longer be British Airways, it'll be poor old Paddy Ryanair.
I'm going to take you on a journey that'll show you how an airline that gives away millions of free seats can post record profits, while so many others are plummeting.
I've been told and it's no lie.
I've been told and it's no lie.
EasyJet's fares are far too high.
EasyJet's fares are far too high.
This is the man behind Ryanair's success, Michael O'Leary, doing what he does best, attacking the competition. Today, he's staging an assault on low-cost rival EasyJet.
No, it's not war, it's peace. We want a little piece of Luton, a little piece of Stansted, a little piece of Germany, a little piece of Italy, and a big piece of EasyJet.
O'Leary has grown Ryanair from a one-plane company to one of the most profitable airlines in Europe in just 15 years.
Ryanair started with effectively a blank sheet of paper and a man with a vision, and that's Michael O'Leary.
The fares are a ridiculous £9 one way to London.
Being in a negotiation with Michael is a bit like being at a masterclass in business. What Michael can do is very often outthink you, outsmart you, in the cause of getting what he wants and needs.
His cost-cutting approach has changed the way airlines do business. So what's his secret?
BBC want to know why Ryanair can sell our seats so cheaply.
Right.
And I say it's because the pilots work for nothing. We just got lower costs. We don't have all the frills and the bullshit that a lot of the expensive airlines have. To be low cost, you really have to eat, sleep, drink and believe in low cost. And every single thing we do is designed to pass on lower fares for consumers.
The flag carriers like British Airways are worried. Earlier this year, BA spent £3 million on a glossy ad campaign attacking the low-cost airlines.
The whole world and his wife want to fly low cost these days. But what we also want are airlines with, more flights and more backup when things go wrong.
We believe that people are prepared to pay for a quality experience. We believe that we should give people a range of products and a range of price to choose from. We've decided to talk about what British Airways has to offer that the no-frills carriers simply don't have to offer.
And then there's the O'Leary way. A very different way to run an airline. It starts with cheap and cheerful advertising.
Core of our marketing strategy is always to spend as little money as possible advertising. We don't have an advertising agency. We don't use any advertising agencies. We design them all ourselves.
And this is Ryanair's first trick. Simple adverts selling the same basic message: low fares. Or even no fares.
And O'Leary loves nothing better than to cause a fuss. He even took on the Catholic Church.
We came up with an ad at the time which we thought was humorous. What's the fourth secret of Fatima? Well, It's that only Ryanair.com guarantees the lowest fares. We spent €400 running that ad once, created all kinds of controversy from the Irish Catholic Church criticising us, then followed by the Vatican Press Office criticising it. This ad ran around the world. It last appeared about 4 months ago in the Hindustan Times in India. And for a spend of about £400, we got something like $8.5 million worth of publicity. When you're a small, low-cost company, that's what you got to do.
Cynical it may be, but it seems to work.
Now let's go and book a ticket.
Once upon a time, I might have gone to a travel agent. But travel agents, with their high street premises full of trained staff offering a broad range of flights and holidays, cost money. Selling through them could add pounds to the price of every ticket. And that's too much for Ryanair.
They replaced all of that with this.
Internet booking is Ryanair's second big cost-cutting trick. They save 15% on every ticket by selling direct.
We don't even sell through a travel agent. We don't want to sell through a travel agent. They're a waste of bloody time.
So, I'm dancing cheek to cheek with Ryanair and there are no middlemen to pay. But how much exactly is the fare? Well, that depends.
As long as you're in the first 70% of people to book on a Ryanair flight, you will get one of the two lowest fares. We sell 70% of all of our seats at the two lowest fares, every flight, every day.
But what about the other 30%?
They will go at higher fares and they will trade up. The last 6% of our seats get sold at our highest fare, which is typically about €150 one way.
So the truth is that Ryanair is making much more money on each flight than you may think, because not all the seats are so cheap. What's more, in the past there have been complaints that some of their advertised fares were not available at all. Just last year, bargain hunter Torben Fink Jensen caught Ryanair out when he tried to take advantage of an email offer. So Torben, tell me what happened.
I had an email from Ryanair sitting in my email inbox offering European destinations £1 return for Brussels. I thought this was too good to be true, so I went to try and book it, and when I looked at their website, the cheapest I could find was £70 or £80 return, no matter which combination of dates and times I chose.
Torben reported O'Leary to the Advertising Standards Authority, who upheld his complaint.
I think we occasionally make balls of these things. You're running so many ads. What actually happened was there were loads of seats available at the fair, but they hadn't changed the availability dates.
Well, that's something to watch out for. Now, let's see what I can find. So I'm going to Brussels Charleroi from London Stansted. One way going out at £26.24. I'll take that one. Our film crew booked weeks ago, as you should. They're each paying just £32 return. As I'm booking just 2 days in advance, my return flight is costing me £95. That's an extra £63. That'll teach me. We're off. First, I've got to get to Liverpool Street Station. Then it's a 45-minute train ride to Ryanair's base at Stansted in Essex. A bit longer than the journey to London's other airports, but perfectly manageable. Okay, so here I am, just 2 minutes from the station in Swish, Stansted Airport. Flying from Stansted has one big advantage for O'Leary: it's cheap.
We showed up, said we were Ryanair, we're a bunch of paddies, but we will deliver you hundreds of thousands of passengers here throughout the day, throughout the year, with very low fares. However, we want very low costs and very efficient facilities.
I think if we look at Heathrow and Stansted, Stansted not only offers lower charges for operating there, even before discounts are applied, but even more, there's an efficiency gain because Heathrow is extremely congested.
And that's another cost saving. Flying out of Stansted rather than Heathrow saves O'Leary at least £3 for every passenger. Ryanair's next trick is to cut the costs at check-in.
There's no ticket here. All I need is my passport and the code number I got over the internet. That's it.
We don't have all the old bollockology that goes on at British Airways of typing in this and typing in that and taking your ticket and looking at your ticket and all the rest of it.
Hello, can I take your passport, please?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. Do you have your reference number?
But there are drawbacks to the Ryanair system.
Just one thing, can I have a window seat?
You can't, no. Once you're on, you can sit where you like, though. You're one of the first to check in, so you'll be one of the first to get on.
Right, how about an aisle seat?
No, same thing.
Right, emergency exit?
No, same thing.
So there are no pre-assigned seats. It's every man for himself. BA does it differently.
I don't want the scrum on board the aircraft, the possibility of my family being spread around the aircraft. I want us to sit together, and I want us to know when we're getting on the aircraft where we're going to be seated. That's something British Airways can offer. That's something that the no-frills carriers simply don't choose to offer.
Basically, we do the free seating policy because it speeds up our turnarounds.
And that's important, because processing people quickly, yet again, saves money.
OK, Ryanair to Brussels, 4:25, on time. Gate 53. Hello.
Go through the gate, and here is yet another money-saving trick.
There's no air bridge here. Rain or shine, it's just tarmac. It's the fastest and cheapest way.
Unless you need to use a wheelchair. As Bob Ross found out the hard way when he recently travelled to France on Ryanair. Bob was born with cerebral palsy. He prefers to get around on his crutches, but he needs the use of a wheelchair to get through the airport.
I have great difficulty in walking any distance without pain. I don't like using a wheelchair, but I have to use a wheelchair because the distance from the check-in desk to the plane is far too great for me to even think about negotiating.
Normally, if someone needs to hire a wheelchair, the airline picks up the tab, not on Ryanair.
I asked for a wheelchair, and I then had to go and pay £18 for using the wheelchair. I believe the charge to be wrong. It shouldn't be made in the first place, but if it has to be absorbed, why is it that the other carriers absorb it and Ryanair does not?
Bob took his case to the Disability Rights Commission, and now they're set to sue Ryanair and the airport authorities for discrimination. A money-saving trick too far, perhaps, but O'Leary remains defiant.
If he was in a wheelchair, we would happily have picked it up. We would have absorbed it. But if any individual passenger walks to the terminal building, they clearly are exercising a discretion. They clearly don't need a wheelchair to walk to the terminal building. They don't need a wheelchair to walk through the terminal building.
It's a question of need. It's not about discretion. It's not about choice, even. I have no choice. If I don't use the wheelchair, I can't fly.
Not paying for the hire of wheelchairs may save Ryanair a tiny amount, but to deliver low fares, you have to save a lot more than that. And this is where they pull their next big trick. It's all about how much they pay for their planes.
For any airline, buying an airplane is the most significant capital decision they will make. At the moment, it's very much a buyer's market.
This beast here is a Boeing 737-800 series. The list price is nearly £34 million. But as to what Ryanair are paying for it, well, Michael O'Leary is unusually tight-lipped about that.
I wouldn't even tell my priest what discount we got off a Boeing aircraft. Some things will be forever secret.
Of course, they're not going to tell us what they pay for them. A lot of speculation in the market that they got discounts of at least 50% from list price.
You buy aircraft when they can't give them away, like immediately after the Gulf War in 1991, and, as Chad Luck would have it, in the last 12 months with the Iraqi crisis, at which stage both Airbus and Boeing's delivery book has collapsed. You could go back in there and get enormous discounts for enormous numbers of aircraft. I think, again, it comes back to probably the Irish heritage of Ryanair. We're all cattle dealers at heart.
And this is another money-making wheeze. Put an ad on the plane. Kilkenny's a beer, Ryanair's the airline.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. Just say...
So it's time to leave for Brussels. Chocks away, lads.
It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away.
Sadly, Ryanair don't allow filming on board, so we can't show you their next money-making trick. If you want any food and drink, you pay for it.
They've turned what was a cost item into a revenue stream, and it's not just the sheer actual cost of the food itself, it's the costs associated with putting carts on aeroplanes, tidying up after it, taking the empty carts off.
If you give it away for free, most people will take more of it than they would normally do if they were charging for it. I mean, the great example on British Airways early morning flights is free champagne. If you're going to a business meeting or do a day's work, what are you doing with 2 bottles of free champagne inside you? This is just complete waste.
But oh, what a wonderful waste.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board this British Airways flight to Brussels. Newspapers, sir.
And what does Michael O'Leary know about full-service flying anyway?
Would you like a glass of wine, sir?
It's a lot more than just free bubbly.
This is what you don't get on Ryanair. A leather seat, assigned to me, a free glass of wine, a vegetarian sandwich from the all-day deli. This is comfort.
That dream could have cost me as little as £65 return with BA, if I'd booked far enough in advance. Never mind, back on Ryanair and less than an hour from Stansted, here I am in Brussels.
Well, actually, not quite Brussels. Charleroi, which is South Brussels, and a good 40 miles away from the centre of town.
And it's not just Charleroi. The location of many of Ryanair's European airports has raised eyebrows. Fly on Ryanair to Stockholm and you go to Skavsta, fully 100 kilometres away. Fly to Copenhagen in Denmark and you end up in Malmö, actually in Sweden. Once again, O'Leary is unapologetic.
Charleroi is 40 kilometres south of Brussels. Zaventem, the main airport, is about 20 kilometres due east. Do you want to drive an extra 20 kilometres for savings of about £400 and £500? Yes, they do, in their millions.
And these small regional airports are desperate to win Ryanair's business.
We're presently talking to more than 40 airports around Europe, all of whom are coming to us, begging us to fly there.
The new generation of European airports depend on the low-cost carriers. This airport loves Ryanair so much, they offered them a 50% discount on landing charges. And they even paid Ryanair over £100,000 for every new route opened here.
Ryanair doesn't just cut costs by flying into these smaller local airports, it also saves time. There are no delays, so it's easier to turn the planes around quickly.
Getting your planes cheap is one part of the low-cost formula. Using them a lot is another. Just watch this. according to my watch, that took just about 20 minutes. You've got to hand it to them. That's a fast turnaround. Eat your heart out, Formula One.
It's not difficult to do. I mean, you know, BA, Aer Lingus, Air France, Lufthansa, they love to tell you how complicated this business is, how difficult it is, how, oh, it's incredible, it's like bloody brain surgery. Look, you park a plane, it's full of passengers, you open the door, you let down the steps, and the passengers get off. And then you just start boarding the next lot of passengers and they will get on again.
In fact, Ryanair's turnaround times are half those of British Airways, and that's another big saving.
So here I am in Charleroi, and just 30 paces from the plane, we're already in the baggage hall.
This is a moment of truth, no matter which airline you're flying with. Will your bags arrive safe and sound? Ryanair are no more likely to lose your baggage than any other airline. But if your baggage is lost or damaged, don't expect a lot of sympathy. Ryanair have just 6 staff in their customer care department. That's 1 for every 2 million passengers. British Airways has 10 times the coverage, 1 for every 200,000 passengers.
The attitude was we're giving them an incredibly low airfare. We are, on the vast majority of occasions, getting them from point A to point B. But if it all goes wrong, we're not necessarily going to give them the same womb-like care and attention they would have got from British Airways.
In the past, Ryanair's compensation policy even included clauses which meant they wouldn't pay up if the bag had any protruding parts. That's handles and wheels to you and me.
We live now in an era where people are much more litigious. You know, you damaged my bag, you know, some flimsy wheel came off my bag. You know, my bag cost me, it's a £500 Samsonite bag. Listen, it's got a flimsy wheel on it. It's your problem, you replace it.
Complaining passengers got no satisfaction from Ryanair, so the Airline Users Council took up their case.
The company as a whole is pretty ruthless in terms of its business model, and it deals with who it wants to, when it wants to, and maybe only deals with people when it can be forced to.
The AUC here in the UK is about as useful as condoms in a convent. You know, these guys claim to represent consumers. Last year they received a total of 2,000 letters from complaints from consumers from the 136 million air travellers who travel to and from the UK.
I think we're slightly more useful than a condom in a convent, but you know, that's the O'Leary approach.
The AUC's approach was to complain to the Office of Fair Trading that the compensation clauses in Ryanair's baggage policy were unfair.
And the OFT agreed with us and asked Ryanair to withdraw those particular clauses.
I'm not sure that it's fair. Like, you know, we carry